Hi all, in this video I'll be talking more about how you will earn participation points through an exercise called Believers and Doubters. This exercise was developed by Peter Elbow and tries to address a problem that we often have when approaching reading by being in an unconscious mindset to take what is written on the one hand as completely correct and true in all circumstances, or on the other hand to only be reading for points that we find fault with or don't agree with. He suggests that we can remedy this by consciously taking on the persona of either that believer or doubter before we read to encourage a deeper sense of learning from the text than we might had we not. In this sense, believing and doubting might be kind of like a game because we're allowing ourselves to consider points of view that might be very different from our own and focusing ourselves to quiet that impulse to make snap judgments about what we're reading. Alright, so how do you play the game? Well, basically, you'll all have the chance to be assigned a section of our reading and the persona that you should adopt while reading. Everyone will have the chance to adopt both the believer and doubter persona also throughout the semester. When you are assigned to be a believer, your main task is going to be to lead discussion on our discussion boards on the section that you've been assigned. To do this, start a new thread in the week's reading discussion board forum and include in your post what you feel are the main claims of the section you're in charge of. Include here at least the overall claim or the main argument, one supporting or supplementary claim, and the implication of these claims. Or in other words, why should we care about these claims for this class? Remember when you reference two specific parts of the reading to cite the page you're drawing your information from so that the rest of us can be following along. Additionally, you'll want to mention why this claim is important or significant in the context of this class and offer up one or two questions for discussion. Altogether, really, this post should be about the length of a short paragraph, so around 200 to 250 words. Alright, so if you're assigned to be the doubter of a section then, what you'll be doing is also creating a thread on the week's discussion board forum, and in your post describing at least 2 points made in the reading with which you either disagree, feel should be expanded upon, or don't feel is clear enough. Be sure in your doubting that you cite where in the text the claim is made, what specifically you doubt, and why you doubt it. Additionally, you'll want to offer up 1 or 2 questions related to your previous points that open up your thread to class discussion. I will say too that this role, that of the doubter specifically, can feel a little bit more difficult at times than of the believer, specifically because you probably have been trained to believe your texts far more than doubt them. And that's okay. Just because you're the doubter doesn't mean you have to completely disagree with what was written. On the contrary, the role of the doubter isn't to necessarily tear apart the reading, but instead to find points where more discussion is needed, to ask questions of the reading that perhaps you might not have asked were you the believer, or to simply question the reading in general. All of these moves are important, and all are important for getting us closer to understanding and having a full conversation in this class about the readings. I've also added a third role onto the believer and doubter game this time too, that will be assigned at times also to you. This is of the lexicographer. Alright, so a lexicographer is someone who puts together a dictionary, and over the course of this semester we'll collaboratively be putting together a bank of key terms that you'll need to know from the readings. When you are assigned to be a lexicographer, you will select 3 to 5 terms from the reading and define them for the class. The lexicographer doesn't really lead discussion in the same way that the believer or doubter does, but when you are a lexicographer, you'll still want to create a thread in the week's reading discussion board forum and add your terms. Others may add additional items to this, terms specifically, as well as maybe other things as part of their participation, if they'd like. But you don't have to post questions on your post as a lexicographer, and it's completely acceptable too if nobody responds to that. So that's an overview of how we will be playing believers and doubters and lexicographers this semester. These instructions and descriptions of requirements are also written out in the assignment sheet for believers and doubters this week, and I've also posted an example from a previous class that you can look at if you would like some ideas and some structure in seeing what this might look like on a post. As always, please send me your questions, comments, or concerns. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you on the discussion boards.